All right, let's start this recording. All right. Hey, my name is Sebastian Maniak, and I am really just learning this new F5 Big IP Next Central Manager platform by deploying it in my lab. And I wanted to not only configure it, but I wanted to learn um, how to orchestrate changes automatically and apply a GitOps approach to it. So the best way I thought was, hey, let's deploy this new Big IP Next platform, deploy a VE, and let's set up GitHub Actions and slowly build upon that. So for this deployment, what we're going to do is we're going to deploy our GitHub Actions workflow against the device. So first, let's take a look at how this looks like. So here is the Big IP Next Central Manager. Consists of applications, security, infrastructure, management. Management is managing the central manager. Infrastructure is managing your Big IP Next instances. So you don't log into a Big IP Next instance. You just deploy that VE and then you connect it to the central manager for you to manage your applications. The application section is where your VIPs get deployed, and the security section is your WAF policies, your dashboards, reports, and logging. So when we go to our application section, we have My Apps, which I have 0. You can manually create an application or migrate from an existing Big IP. But what we're going to do is deploy it the GitOps way. And then we have templates, so F5 fast templates. Right now, there's just a standard HTTP one, where you can also use templates to be able to deploy your applications. We have certificates and keys that you can be stored in here. We have iRules, and a cool feature I like is that I can actually take a look at an iRule and compare the difference and versions of a previous iRule, which is pretty neat. I like that. So let's log into GitHub here and log into our repo. So I have a repo called GitOps or GitOps F5 Next. And in here, in this repository, we have a workflow. And it's a pretty basic workflow that deploys a runner, or the runner is deployed locally in my lab, in my house. The first thing I'm doing is I'm sending a post to get tokens to authenticate to the F5. Next, I'm going to just store that token inside a variable. Then I'm going to use that token to deploy any AS3 JSON file in my apps folder and run through that entire folder if new applications get added, and deploy that to my central manager. And once it's deployed, or that what F5 calls the documents is deployed of that AS3, then I can actually deploy it to a specific target, and that target is my Big IP VE. So my virtual edition or a physical device or Velos or an R series, whatever it is, I'm assuming. So let me switch to my code here. Perfect. So what I have here is we're going to create this web app 1. I'm just going to kick this off. Let's just call this app 1 for now. And we're going to create a simple AS3 declarative config. So I want my source of truth to be what's inside my GitHub repo. So I'm going to deploy a standard HTTP web app. And I'm going to just commit my changes. So commit. Once they're committed, I'm going to push my changes to my repo. And then what we can do is we can take a look at actions, and we can take a look at my last commit. And inside here, right away, the workflow gets initiated, grabs the token from the F5, logs in, deploys the document. Once the document has been deployed, which is my AS3 template, goes ahead and applies it to the specific target that I have coded in here. So when we log into our F5 and refresh our page, we can see, all right, perfect. Web app 1 was deployed. It was deployed in a specific instance or location, so one location. So this web application was deployed in one location. We could deploy this web app in multiple locations across multiple, cloud environments, whatever we want. And we can log into this environment, click on edit, and take a look at the actual AS3 declaration of this configuration itself. So pretty simple, pretty clean, kind of gooey. I really like it so far. And what I want to do is, as this platform matures, see if we can grow my skill sets and continue showing you on how we can do new and cool things. So let's go back into our code. Let's try this again. Let's deploy a new application. So I'm just going to paste this, copy paste. Let's do app 2. And web app 2, just do control find, and we'll just replace the VIP addresses to something different. The one thing I did notice that is when I did shared in here, shared node, set to true, it didn't work, so I'll have to follow up and see why that's not working in here. So pretty simple. I'm going to add a new application for this environment. I'm going to save this. I'm going to publish this to my repo, adding app 2, commit, push. And we can go right to our GitHub Actions, and we can see we are adding app 2 to the environment. And if I keep on refreshing it here, what you'll notice, if we can catch it, is that it's going to deploy the app, so web app 2, and then it says draft mode. Let's see if we can catch this instance. So it says to see draft right here, and then deploying it in instance. So it set that into its document state or draft state. And then when we're ready, we can automatically deploy it to that instance or deploy it to multiple instances as we want. So perfect. Our application was deployed, all using this, GitOps methodology, having a declarative configuration to configure this entire instance, using GitHub Actions and flows. Pretty clean and simple. What I'm looking forward to next from F5 is hopefully, they're working on the Terraform provider for this, or Ansible modules. So when we start migrating to this new next platform, it's going to make it easier for us to already have or involve a GitOps flow that not only a network engineer can do, but our developers can add this into the pipeline and orchestrate and automate really their changes on the F5. So with that, thank you very much. I'm going to end my stream now.